Yeah, I think that with a disease like what I'm working with is myalgic encephalomyelitis. It's been called chronic fatigue syndrome more recently, but the correct name would be myalgic encephalomyelitis. That's the international term. And so we use ME/CFS to try to combine that, but ME would be the more correct term. And it's a really severe, complex chronic disease, and it presents an interesting challenge for working in the e-patient context because uh, the vast majority of people who have it are quite disabled, um, who maybe about 50% or more can't work. And so you fight this constant paradox of, on the one hand, wanting to be seen as a professional, and on the other hand, uh, dealing with something that's quite severe. And the beauty of it is that had been exploring these different avenues of figuring out how can I work a 40-hour work week and this field or that field or that field when I have an employer who may or may not be sympathetic to the disease. And working in this context with where everybody who's we're interviewing for this film is a doctor who treats ME/CFS full time, and many of the patients deal with it full time and can't work. And it's been nice from a career perspective to have that level of sympathy. And for instance, I was just had a phone call with one of our executive producers today, and the very last question she asked me was, how's your health? And you wouldn't get that from, working at the Daily Beast, I don't think. But when everybody else knows that you have this severe disease and everybody else has been through it, there is something very beautiful. And I, on one film set, we had one of the medical students who said, you look really, really pale. You need to lay down. And I'm wanting to be very professional and try to be well put together and fight through it. But it was very nice from a professional perspective for the illness to be taken into account, respected, and for people to let me rest when I needed to.
Now that's really wonderful. Um, I think we're all in a really fortunate place in that something that's touched us so deeply has the potential that we can apply the skills we have to that experience and make something better from it. I feel like I didn't exactly choose this, um, but it evolved as a natural progression from reaching out to other people, becoming involved in social media, working with Twitter, meeting Alicia, starting this chat, and then everything kind of exploded. And as you said, once you do get out there and you keep making forward steps, no one's telling you what to do. As I said, there's no roadmap. You have to be a self-starter on these things, or you're not going to get out of the water. So when you follow your own intuition and your own advocacy and passion, I think the career thing becomes, inevitable. All of a sudden, you're in it,
Right.
and you go from there.
As people always say, you follow your passion, and before you know it, it becomes a career. And yeah, so in this Stanford MedX is a great example of getting a more seal of approval on the work that we're doing, and that's one more thing that builds it. And I'd always see myself as a journalist first and foremost, and I still do. But more and more, I'm kind of redefining my role in the world as partly as a social entrepreneur. I don't normally say advocate or activist, although some people do use that term for me. But um, learning to redefine who you are, and it can really be very beautiful, and change your plan for your life in a positive way sometimes.